In today's video, I'm going to be talking about lithium. Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities market tutorial. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. As I said before, I'm going to be looking at lithium in today's video, mostly because I like it as a product, but I also see the advantages of it. Now, whilst you can see a lot of different places to invest into lithium, whether that be through the stock market, CFDs, or ETFs, there's a lot of information and reasons for doing it as well. So I thought today might be a good opportunity to give you a couple of good pointers about what lithium actually is, how it's dug up, and of course, what some of its usages are and where we might be considering investing in it. Now, when we think about lithium, there's a couple of did you know facts that are probably important. The first one is that it is actually a very reactive substance. Its periodical element is number 3. It stands for Li on the periodic table. And of course, it's not actually found in its pure form. When we mine for it, we have to purify it via other means, which means what we actually dig out of the ground tends to be coming from a rock. Now, whilst it is found in rocks and most of the mining that is conducted here in Australia comes from igneous rock, we can find it in seawater and in other types of minerals as well. Now, it's interesting to know as well that of lithium mined, 46% of it is used in batteries. So, considering where we're going with EVs and electric vehicles and everything of that sort of nature on renewable energies, it's going to be something that's important, likely for time to come. Now, outside of that, you've got 26% going to ceramics and glass production. You've got lubricants and greases accounting for about 11% of its usage. And it's also used in aircraft grade materials on the performance side of things, and as well as medicine. Most of you would know the idea of antidepressant medication, which is actually called lithium. It's because it pretty much is lithium in itself. Now, looking at those usages, there's a wide distribution of where it gets used. It's obviously not just batteries that we can focus on here. This sector as a whole is probably a good place to start looking. You've got mining sectors, medical sectors, you've then got battery and innovation and tech sectors to consider, and of course, general manufacture and production. So it's going to get used across the entire range. Looking at lithium as a sector though, where do I tend to like things? I think the best place to really look at the usages of lithium is really in the battery technology. Battery technology is really at the core of renewable energies. We know that we're going to be moving away from combustion engines in a lot of places and a lot of countries around the world. We're also starting to see the gains that things like Tesla can do. Of course, technology is still not quite there yet. We can't drive from Sydney to Queensland without having to recharge our batteries, but it's on the way. So the moment that we do start getting that, you will likely see a pretty big push towards electric vehicles, just because the ability of it to actually get you from A to B is improved to match what we see in combustion engines from the current era. It's an investment of an environmental sustainability plan. So in one aspect, whilst you are investing in a mining substitute, it is something that can be considered to be on an environmental and sustainability. So for some of those investors out there who might like to think a little bit about their ESG investing and taking account and be careful with their investing, then it's not a bad place to go. It does give you a little bit of environmental sustainability to a degree, though you are still mining for the environment. So look at that however which way makes you feel better or sleep better at night. Of course, energy storage is really where we're aiming to go with this. It's set to climb over the next decade and potentially see demand rise a long way with it. So hopefully we see that as a good point to look for. Of course, electric vehicles are going to be coming up as well, so you're not restricted to just the batteries on their own. You can also start looking at other manufacturers. And of course, usually when you do see a new company that comes up making a new innovative product, whilst they might be the first to do it and they have a limited run of success, there's always someone willing to back it up and go a little bit further later down the track. So that is something we will have to keep monitoring. I would not be at all surprised if Tesla ends up with some level of competition in the next decade on an electric vehicle manufacturer. So overall, I really do like the lithium sector, but I'm more focused in Australian ASX sort of leading the way, purely because we have some of the most resourceful uses of lithium. We can get to lithium very, very easy with some really good deposits here in Australia. So there are an amplitude of numbers of different stocks available on our ASX listing, but they're not restricted. You can find them in the US, you can find them in Canada, you can find them in China. So you really do have a global look, and you can diversify yourself not only from country specific but also from what the sector specific is. So that's a really positive element when it comes to your diversification. Just because one country might be having woes with trade disagreements or wherever it may be, doesn't mean you're stuck with just that one country, does it? Because there are a number of places in the world that mine for lithium. So you can look elsewhere. Here at ACY Securities, there is an ETF that you can look at as well if you want to get some exposure or you want to have a look at it. The one that I like to look at is the ACDC ETF. And now this one gives you an exposure across the broad range of all companies and sectors that might actually do some dealing when it comes to lithium. So that is not a bad one to have a look at, even if it's just to get an idea of where the sector has moved over the last little while and where it might go in the future. I would suggest or recommend, if you are interested in lithium, to have a look there first, particularly if you are new to investing, because it'll give you a good idea of where they're investing as well. So even if you don't want to invest in the ETF itself, you are most certainly welcome to have a look at where they've got their holdings at. Now, really, when we think about it in the long term, I'm going to maintain a bullish, optimistic output for lithium. I know we have had some years gone by where we've had more supply than really demand necessary, but that is starting to change over. Particularly in 2020, we've seen a growing number of people interested in lithium and, of course, some new battery technology, such as solid-state batteries. So for some time to come, particularly over the next decade, I anticipate seeing lithium rise for a while to come yet, even if it is just as a commodity price. But I personally think that if we keep an eye on what's happening with the lithium and who's buying it, we'll possibly even see where we might find the next opportunity for a truly innovative product that would enable us to purchase something on the tech side as well. Now, that's all I have in today's video for you. If you'd like to get in contact with me or share some of your thoughts about lithium and mining, feel free to shoot me an email at talktoal@acy.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video so you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a great trading day ahead.